great defense. Had some guys that made some threes that we don't mind taking them, and other than that, we locked in on everybody and then turned our defense off and got out and ran.
How big was the man in that defensive effort?
Yeah, of course, he's the head of the snake as far as that when it comes to Curry specifically. The ball pressure without fouling, obviously picked him a few times there, but just wearing on him, and then everybody else doing their job as well. Missed him a few times on some offensive rebounds where we didn't locate him, but other than his flurry in the second quarter where he had 11 of his 13, we did a great job.
Coach, it feels like there was a level of composure tonight. Like, just how important was that on that side of the ball, just in terms of the composure of the overall game?
On defense or offense?
Everything.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, I think our focus was great. Feels like we're getting more consistent recognition of what they're doing throughout the series as it goes on, trying to wear them down and taking away certain actions, and we did that, and try to make them make plays and not run their plays. And so when they have to beat us one-on-one, we feel that's to our advantage, and obviously everybody's locked in on that tonight, swarming around, and played great on both sides.
How much of an advantage is it when Fred is playing like the way he's been playing the last 3 games?
Yeah, obviously that's a big thing for us. He missed shots early in the series, and would have been a different story probably if he had played the way he is playing offensively now, just making shots. Coming out extra aggressive, but doing a great job on Green as well, recognizing their sets and kind of getting everybody set there. So the offense is obviously icing on the cake, added bonus, but he's doing it all, facilitating, scoring, and guarding extremely well.
Since this is this group's first go round in the playoffs, you get a chance to learn something about them each time out. Considering the stakes, what did you learn about your group tonight with their backs against the wall?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think our recognition has grown through the series. We like it to happen overnight our first game, but take some time, and we're taking away certain things, and that's obviously going to be beneficial to us. But we haven't quit all year and don't really back down from challenges, so expect us to come out with that effort and focus tonight. And so obviously locked in there and have to go do it in San Francisco next.
Fred ties the game 104-104 back in game 4. Then he had 14 early kind of points tonight. Does he feel, or do you think he feels in big moments he's the catalyst for you guys? He needs to get you guys going?
I think he takes whatever the game gives him, and they're keyed in on Jalen a lot, and he can free up there a little bit and create those advantages for himself, but also make the right reads like he usually does. So he's not the type to force it. Obviously, like I said, wasn't shooting at his best the first few games, but had the same great looks and has been knocking them down. So it's a little bit different now, but whatever it takes. He's not a stat guy. He's a winning guy.
Ime has done more on ball as the series has progressed. Was there a turning point for him in terms of figuring it out on the offensive end?
Yeah, I mean, he has an advantage. It's you have to create certain driving lanes for him, get our spacing correct, and not just make it as vanilla as it was early. Him driving downhill against a big. They do switch some guys that we feel we have favorable matchups with him with his size and athleticism, and he's doing a really good job at attacking and finishing as well. So you lump it into Fred and Jalen, some of the guys that were missing shots early, he was as well. And the last 2 games, he's kind of found his rhythm, and the shots are going in now, so it looks different.
Defensively, you were able to hold Curry and Butler to just 13 and 8 points respectively. I know you talked about Amen's presence on that side of the ball earlier, but just overall, how did you feel about the entire team effort to kind of limit those guys tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with Amen and Dylan with those matchups, but it is like you said, especially on Curry, full team effort, and he got loose in transition at times in a few games, but I think our recognition there was better. Still lost him on the offensive rebounds, have to locate him there, but to your point, like I've always said, their whole team is geared toward getting them shots, and we have to be locked in and communicate on the defensive end. It's not just one guy guarding them, it's everybody being on point with their recognition, communication, and Fred's a big piece of that, with Green, guarding Green, and knowing the actions they're going to run. So, hell of a job by everybody. Like I said, he had that little spurt in the second quarter, but other than that, hell of a job tonight.
Ime, here, one of the Warriors broadcasters tonight on the broadcast accused Dylan Brooks of intentionally swiping at Curry's right thumb. How would you respond to that?
I wouldn't. If that's the response, I wouldn't.
Coach, after game 4, you said that the only thing that you told your team was once we get back, just win. That's all you got to do. Is that one game at a time approach the same message you're going to give them heading back to Golden State?
Yeah, it's not just win the game; it's win the possession, the quarter, the half, and stay locked in as far as that. You know, however long it takes, whether it's a quick start like tonight or grinding them out like we have before and gotten back into games, we have to figure out how to get it done. And so, with our group, I don't look at the home and away thing. I look at how we're playing and how we're starting and what our focus level is. And so, go to Golden State, do it, and put some real pressure on them, bringing them back here.
Obviously, you would like to keep the starters out and rest them some more for Friday, but what did you see that necessitated bringing them back into the game?
Lack of scoring and lack of rebounding, really. You know, the areas that hurt you are turnovers. When you have somebody at a 30-point deficit, turnovers let them back in the game, 3-point shots and offensive rebounds, and they did a few of those. You know, we had 4 points for, I think, the first 6+ minutes, and so got from 30 to about 17, and with 6.5 to go, and wanted to get us back in and get settled, and guys did a great job.
Your team earlier in the game was really attacking the basket, especially the baselines. Anything that you saw in the film that made you feel like you can get easier baskets, especially scoring from the baseline?
It's always about our spacing, really, and you know, we were great in game 2, had some slippage in game 3, got back to it in these last 2, and so if we guard like we're capable and score up in the 105, 110, whatever that is, we feel we have a great shot, and the spacing is obviously a necessity in this series because they load up, help off the corners. You know, they're a positioned defensive team that don't have a lot of rim protection, but the guys are in the right spots all the time. We have to give our outlets there, and that takes away from our turnovers. You know, guys cutting on top of each other, playing in the crowd, and so if we can have patience, get to our spots, and you know, we'll either get the drop-offs or get on the glass on the misses, and it's been a good formula for us.
What do you think was the biggest factor that allowed your team to not only respond with their backs against the wall, but dominate tonight?
Like I just mentioned a few things with, focus, intensity, attention to detail, recognition, communication, all those things that we're harping on, that you have to be consistent to win in the playoff series. I think we're at our best tonight as far as that. And then once we do that and take care of everything, we can get out and run with some pace and, turn defense to offense. And so it's been our formula all year to good basketball is getting stops and getting out and run, and then having patience in the half court. And like I just mentioned, our spacing and execution of sets was great.
You said before it's only a matter of time before Fred starts knocking down shots. Two nights in a row. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, confidence, not wavering. He had the looks in those first few games. Was missing them, but he's taking the same shots. Always stays confident and doesn't waver from or turn down from the moment. So whether it requires him to score more or make the plays, he's going to do that. But even more so, it feels like he's hunting those shots and being extra aggressive and has a nice little pep in his step right now.
Ime, with Amen, what was the most impressive thing about how assertive he was tonight at both ends?
Yeah, it's hard to pick up full court on a guy like Curry. Obviously, they're setting high screens for him, so playing without fouling is a big thing. Obviously, he got his hands on a few balls and got those steals and ignited us there, but that's kind of what he does, regardless of the opponent. And defensively, though, that's one thing, but offensively, finding his rhythm, getting downhill and attacking. Other than the first turnover we had, he was decisive on his drives to the basket, and like they said, got the drop-offs, got the lob threat, all the above. He's setting screens, handling, playing in the dunker, and so very well-rounded game, and made a few jump shots as well.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.